United States military is rethinking its security engagement strategy on the African continent. Speaking at the African Lion 2025 joint military exercise, AFRICOM Commander General Michael Langley stressed the need for African nations to assume greater responsibility for their own security through more autonomous operations and shared burden frameworks. And this reflects a pivot away from a US model long focused on governance, development and counter-terrorism training, now being recalibrated and amid persistent extremist threats in the regions like the Sahel and the Horn of Africa. Well, so what does this shift actually mean for Africa's security architecture? For a little bit more on this, we're now joined by Dr Diyeli Aigbe, who's a security consultant and criminologist at the Caleb University in Nigeria. Thank you so much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Is that Peter? Your voice sounds familiar.
Yes, it is. It's Peter Ndoro.
Okay. Good morning, Peter.
Good to have you. So let's start with the big picture. How significant is this shift in U.S. military policy towards Africa, particularly the emphasis on African nations taking charge of their own security?
Okay, yes, it's a good one for if we can able to nip it, if we can able to take the bulls by the horn. I mean, to do, but we have gotten the warning sign of the control West. Even for during the first time, he had been saying that he wants to make America great again. He wants to revert back to the old order of the American, putting America first at the expense of any other region of the world. He sent those signals to one of the American greatest ally, the European Union. And see, from he just trying to isolate America in his own. So African leaders have to think through it and they have to think within themselves. We have different regional bodies. We have ECOWAS. We have SADC in South Africa. Other regions there in East Africa, AFRICOM also. And so we can form those synergies together and think inwardly. Peter, we Africans, we have the capacity, we have the resources. We put our resources together. The America will come begging us that they are sorry about it. So we saw what happened in the Sahel region when the French troops were there for so many years, and they will see that insurgency in the Sahel region, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and they will see this massive influx of the arms coming through the Sahel region in the Horn of Africa and the Chad Basin, and the French troops couldn't do anything about it. So, but through the military era, the emergence of Traore in Burkina Faso, I said, no, that's why they had to now form this alliance with the Russians. And the Russians keen to that. And that's how they're ready to solve it a bit now. So we African leaders are able to think inward and we can do it. We have the capacity, put our resources together. We recall during the ECOMOG, during the military era of the President Ibrahim Babangida in Nigeria, when they formed the ECOMOG military troop to support Liberia and Sierra Leone war, Liberian war, yes, and the other war again so they formed that synergy. They're able to nip it to the board. So we, as Africans, we have the resources to do that. Through the emergence of the African Union, we can do that. We have the resources to put together to be able to solve our internal security. We have the capacity to do that. We don't need American intervention and to be able to support. Sometimes we need to collaborate. So can you bring in China and Russia to it? And I just hope that America will not be now feel slighted again, because they're the one telling us now, we Africans, that we should solve our own problem within ourselves. So we need to think inwardly and be able to solve it within ourselves.
Do you think we genuinely do have the equipment and enough resources to lead independent operations? I mean, it was just recently that the South African army and soldiers within the army were saying that in their mission in SADC, for example, they just didn't have enough equipment, and it was debated in Parliament. So if South Africa is struggling, how are other countries on the continent equipped?
Well, they're just struggling. So even though there are a lot of resources being spent, I said earlier in the last conversation we had about how Buhari spent about 11.8 trillion naira of Nigerian resources, and they're just spending our budgetary being allocated each year. But we're not able to fight the insurgency in the northeast and spreading to the northeast, west now, and in north central now. and it's going to be like a looming national chaos for us. We're just releasing, spending so much, but what are we spending this money for? So when I say we want to use the non-kinetic measures to solve the problem, so it's not only America that have nuclear weapons or have access to weapons. You know, if you can see the Indian too is having that. You have that collaboration with other part of the region. China can come in, Russia can come in, India can come in to help us because to have that collaboration. But in military operations, you cannot isolate yourself. You need to have that collaboration to be able to solve. So this America is trying to isolate himself. Now Trump is having this taking America first. We should look outside and able to collaborate with other people that want to work with us and form that synergy. America cannot even do that all by itself. Donald Trump visited Saudi Arabia and formed that partnership with them. They said, okay, we'll give you what you need, but we want in technology. So America itself knows that partnership will help. So the African leaders within the region should be able to look from that synergy with other parts of the world to be able to collaborate in terms of our military, in terms of trainings and equipment and everything. It will go a long way of helping us to be able to solve this problem internally. But we have to. I remember one of the great African scholars. I don't know if you know about Ali Mazuri. So the Pax Africana talked about we Africans, we need to solve our own problem within ourselves. Don't use external or mediators to come in to tell us what to do and everything. And even the former late Kofi Annan of the United Nations Secretary General said that United Nations are too big to hide and too small to make an impact. They are too big to hide because it's a United Nation. Their influences, their role in DR Congo has not been very, very top notch. But if you look at the Srebrenica, the killings and the other killings in other part of the world, you can see the United Nations responding quickly. So the American, the allies are always reluctant to come to aid of Africa, and we have to now take initiative to solve our problem. So, when it comes to Africa, they want to put a little number of soldiers and to make enough impact to solve our problems. And a lot of conflict in Africa, they're the cause of all this. But African leaders, you have to think the way of Traore is now thinking of. I know they want to fight it. They want to bring some dissenting voice to create that narrative so that they can come in. So we have to think beyond foreign aids or foreign intervention. So they escalate because they have their own personal interest to gain. So we have to look beyond, thinking outside the box invariably. So it will help African leaders, Africans and Nigerians, and Nigeria and South Africa are one of the big powers in Africa. They can take that initiative. If you look at the fight of apartheid, how Nigeria played a very dominant role in Namibia and another part of the world, and every day we're able to achieve that. So we will form that synergy together. For this divided role of the West, and speaking double dealing, so it's not helping Africans. So we have to come straight and able to solve this problem collectively as a continent.
Diyeli, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much indeed. Good talking to you again.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. It's a great privilege always talking with you.
Thank you. That's Dr Diyeli Aigbe, who's a security consultant and criminologist at Caleb University in Nigeria, talking to us about this shift by the US military, rethinking its security engagement strategy, and now saying that Africa really needs to take charge of its own security issues. Interesting shift, and Diyeli saying that it's actually good. We do have the resources and the capabilities to do that. It's time now for your news headlines.